Hey there, it's Stephanie Shea, Chief Astrologer for janspiller.com with your monthly horoscope, and this one is for you, Libra. We're coming into November and the sun will be shining in the sign of Scorpio all the way through the 20th. This makes the first part of the month a great time to review your finances or any type of financial agreements. I would definitely hold off on major purchases until later in the month if possible, because as we enter November, both Mars and Mercury will be retrograde, and that really isn't the best timing for big decisions. By mid-month, good news, both of these planets will be direct. And that's really going to help you get a lot of clarity about your resources and determine the best use of your time and energy as well. Now let's talk about Mercury retrograde. It's been retrograde back since October 13th. It's going to station direct on November the 3rd at 25 degrees of Libra. So if you were born on or around October 18th, of any year or have around 25 degrees Libra rising, you're probably going to feel the biggest mental shift at the time Mercury makes its station direct. While Mercury has been retrograde in your sun sign, there's been an emphasis on resolving personal matters and sticking to the commitments that you've made to yourself. It's going to be easier to get others on board with your ideas after Mercury stations direct. So keep in mind that we're going to be in the shadow phase of this Mercury retrograde cycle until November 20th. So definitely double check your processes even after Mercury is direct and you start to perhaps initiate contact with someone new you've wanted to get in touch with or start to implement a new plan. Definitely take it slow, clarify your intentions with others for best results. You can use the days that Mercury is going to be direct in your sun sign, November 3rd to the 9th, to confirm plans and repeat a message that may have been lost or misinterpreted while Mercury was retrograde. So there's a lot you can do as Mercury begins to move forward again in your sign. Now on November 13th, we've got Mars stationing direct at 15 degrees of Aries. And this ends a cycle that began way back on September the 9th. Now, if you were born on or around October 8th of any year, or if you have around 15 degrees of Libra rising, you're going to feel this station of Mars the most, more than other Libras, maybe more than some other people that you know. The emphasis has been on your individuality these past few months, and your needs might have come into conflict with someone close to you. This is a big Mars retrograde and Aries theme. This astrology can push you to need to set some personal boundaries sometimes. Now, once Mars stations direct, you're going to find it easier to express yourself and engage in more harmonious negotiations, probably the way you're used to as a Libra. That's usually a strong suit. And if that's felt difficult to do, whether you felt a block coming internally or the people around you just don't seem to want to engage harmoniously, I believe towards the end of the month and as we go closer and closer to the new year with this Mars moving direct in Aries, it will be easier to have some collaborative peace talks, agreements, settlements, this type of thing. So Mars is going to be in Aries through the 6th of January. So this gives you a lot of time to take action. Take your time and be thorough when forging agreements in the coming months. You've got some time to make the most of this Mars and Aries, which really is good for initiating. Now, November 15th is our new moon, and it's at 23 degrees of Scorpio. This is going to be an especially good new moon for Libras to set intentions to improve their finances, boost feelings of self-worth, attract intimate relationships, and direct their energy towards worthwhile pursuits. So you don't want to miss out on setting these intentions. And if you're curious about the best time to set your new moon intentions, go over to janspiller.com. You can look into our membership options, and with most of the memberships, you can gain access to the best time to set these intentions, which really does make a difference. This is what Jan studied in her life, and she wrote the book New Moon Astrology. So we're happy to be able to provide that service for our members. Now we've got the sun moving into Sagittarius on the 21st, and this highlights learning, information, communications, and making new connections. So during the last part of the month, you can see it's a better time for making that, like I said, connection or reaching out to somebody, having productive conversations. And it's a great time to take a class or attend a lecture or engage in other activities that stimulate your mind. It'll probably feel quite energizing. The November 30th full moon is combined with a lunar eclipse at 8 degrees of Gemini. This forms a favorable trine to your sun. So even though lunar eclipses sometimes get associated with emotional drama and things feeling overwhelming, I think when it's at a favorable aspect to your sun or your rising, it actually can be uplifting and illuminating time, and you might feel some results from something you've been working on perhaps 6 months ago, the last time we had some eclipses. So again, this eclipse is also emphasizing learning and expanding your worldview. Make a point to do more listening than talking at this eclipse. You have a lot to learn from those around you, and that's what this full moon lunar eclipse is highlighting for you. Sort through the information you receive and formulate some logical theories of your own. So it's all about taking in the information, sitting with it, and then finding what works for you. The full moon eclipse will heighten everyone's emotional state, as I said, so it will be important to return to the facts to regain a sense of balance if it feels that conversations are getting a little bit heated or carried away. But it can be quite a useful clarifying full moon eclipse for you. So I hope that you can make the most of November's astrology. Be safe and be well, and I'll see you back here next month with your horoscope.